Hello everyone, welcome to our geographical location series. Now, as promised, I am bringing you the geographical locations which were in news. For those people who haven't watched the first two videos, please watch that particular videos where we have taken the geographical locations which were in news in 2023. Now, this is me, Rohan Salunkhe, and we are discussing the geographical locations which were in news, and these are particularly important for UPSC Prelims 2024. Fine. So this is the third video, Geographical Locations Part 3, which contains world and India geographical locations, which are basically in news in the year 2024. For 2023 geographical locations, both from world and Indian perspective, we have discussed already in the previous videos. The link for which will be provided in the description, so you can check over there. Fine. Now, let's begin first with the locations in news, that is world. Okay, and I'm using the word updated. So updated means the locations which were in news in 2024, that is from Jan 2024 till April. Fine. So let's start. So as you people know that the context, I won't be discussing the context over there. So anyone, if you want to read the news, you may pause the video. You can see the context. You can read the context over there. We will directly jump to the geographical location. Fine. So the country over here is Botswana. Now, see the geographical location of Botswana. Now, you can see it's a country which is in southern Africa. Fine, the southern region of Africa. Now, see, this is the country over here. Now, whenever we see any particular country, any particular nation, the first important thing which we discuss with respect to the geographical perspective is the nations, the countries with which it's having the border. Fine. Now see, Botswana is having the border, okay, with which other countries? So first is Namibia, okay, towards the west. Then towards the south we have South Africa. Towards the eastern side, the northeastern side, we have Zimbabwe. Fine. Okay. And there is a small connecting link, okay, small connecting link with Zambia as well. Fine. Now, to confuse you, UPSC may provide Angola as an option within that particular MCQ. Okay, so you need to remember that Angola is not sharing border. Okay, Angola is not directly sharing border with Botswana. Fine. So to confuse you, UPSC may use Angola as a trap. Okay, so you know that these four nations are sharing border with Botswana. Fine. Now, also remember one more important thing, that is the Tropic of Capricorn is passing through Botswana. Fine. So wherever these geographical locations are there, and you come across the equator, the Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer, and if that particular tropic, equator or something like that, okay, that is passing particularly through that country, so you should be knowing. Fine. Okay. Now, so let's move ahead to the another geographical location. Another geographical location is a small region, okay, in the country of Sudan. So what's that region? That region is Darfur region. You can read the context why exactly it was in news. Now, Darfur region, if you see in the map, it's the western part of Sudan. Fine. Okay. Now, as we have already discussed Sudan in the previous videos, okay, you can just have a look over it. Still, we will be discussing the geographical location with respect to the Sudan and the bordering countries. So if you see closely, Sudan is having its border shared with some countries and one water body. So which are those countries? First is Egypt, then Libya, then Chad, fine. Then Central African Republic, okay. Then you have South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. If you see to this map, okay, if you see the zoomed map over there, you can be able to see that this is the Eastern African country. Fine. Okay. Now, what's the capital of Sudan? Khartoum, which is highlighted over here. Okay. Now, Sudan is sharing its boundary with which water body? You can see over here. It's Red Sea. Fine. So whenever any particular nation or country is in news, you need to identify two things. First is the country, or let's say countries with which that country is sharing border. Second is the water body. Okay. Water body or bodies with which that particular country is sharing its border. Fine. Okay. Now, guys, there is one question to you people. Tell me in the comment section. Fine. Which latitude passes through Sudan? Is it equator? Is it Tropic of Capricorn? Or is it Tropic of Cancer? So it's general knowledge, particularly with respect to that country. Fine. Tell me in the comment section over there. Now the next location is Mount Erebus. Now if you read the context, you can be able to know that Mount Erebus is located in Antarctica. Now, UPSC have often asked the volcanoes, okay, the volcanoes which are basically in news, okay, or let's say the active volcanoes which have erupted few years back or recently and which were in news for that particular reason, okay. So you should be knowing those locations, the region from which that particular volcano belong, right? So here you can see Mount Erebus is located in Antarctica. If you see the map, you can be able to see here that it's located near the Ross ice shelf, okay, which is near the Ross Sea. Fine. So that's important with respect to the geographical location of Mount Erebus. Fine. Now, moving ahead, we are having another volcano, another active volcano, that is Mount Ruang. Mount Ruang volcano. Fine. It has also erupted recently, so that for that particular reason, it was in the news. Now, where exactly it is located? It is located in the Indonesia, north to the Sulawesi Island. So you can see this particularly is the region of Mount Ruang, which is located in Indonesia, and to be more specific, towards the northern side of Sulawesi Island of Indonesia. Fine. Okay. Then another important location is Gulf of Tonkin. Gulf of Tonkin. When you get to see Gulf of Tonkin, just imagine that there is a particular gulf which is situated in the right side of Vietnam. Fine. So in this manner, you can remember. Gulf of Tonkin was in news for that particular reason, for another particular reason. Now, what exactly is that reason? You may pause. You can read over there. Fine. Now, here, Gulf of Tonkin. It's basically situated towards the right side of Vietnam, towards the eastern side of Vietnam. Okay. Now, if you observe closely, Gulf of Tonkin is a part of the bigger water body, that is South China Sea. Okay. So if there is a question particularly that Gulf of Tonkin is basically situated between which countries? Okay. So remember that Gulf of Tonkin is sharing its border. It's situated between Vietnam and China. Okay. It's situated between Vietnam and China. You can observe over here. Okay. Now, fine. Now talking about Vietnam, see, Vietnam is sharing its border with which countries? That's also important, right? So Vietnam is also in news. So you will also see that Vietnam is sharing its border with few important countries. So what are they? First is China. Obviously, you can see in the map over here. Okay. Then towards the western side, we have Laos and Cambodia as well. So is Thailand sharing its border with Vietnam? No. Okay. Neither Thailand nor Myanmar. Fine. So that's important. At times, it also becomes important for you people to remember those nations which are not sharing border with the nation or country which is in news. Fine. Okay. Now, Lebanon was in news. So you can see for this particular reason, okay, Lebanon was in news. And to be more specific, there is a concept of blue line, which was demarcated by the United Nations. Okay. So what's that blue line? Blue line is basically a demarcation, okay, a ceasefire line, you can say, between Lebanon and Israel. Fine. So it's UN demarcated blue line. If you observe it here, it's blue in color. Basically, in the map, it's shown as blue in color. Okay, that's blue line. So it was a different story over there where basically Israeli forces have occupied certain areas of Lebanon in the past, and then to have a ceasefire over there, UN demarcated that line. Fine. Now, there were some another issues going on in that particular region, and for that reason, it was in news. So let's see the location of Lebanon. So with which countries Lebanon is sharing its border? Towards the right hand side, we are having Syria. Okay. Towards the southern side, we are having Israel over here. Okay. Now, see closely observe, Jordan is not sharing its border with Lebanon. Okay. So that you should be remembering. Yes, guys, what is the capital of Lebanon? It's Beirut. Fine. Now, tell me in the comment section, what is the name of this water body? What is the name of this water body which is sharing, it's having the coastal region with Lebanon. It's creating the coast with Lebanon. What's that water body over there? It's simple. Fine. Every one of you might be knowing. Okay. Then another important country which was in news, that is Belgium. Context you may read over here. Now, Belgium. So what's the first thing which comes to your mind when you hear Belgium apart from the chocolate? Okay, Belgium chocolate is a particular thing which is basically like fond of any particular person will be fond of that particular chocolate. Fine. तो हम लोगों ने सुना होता है बहुत बेल्जियम के बारे में. So what's the another reason for which Belgium देख के आपके दिमाग में आ जाता है? Fine. It's a European country, is a well established European country over there. Okay. Now, that country has been in news for some another reason. You can read the news over there. Now, which are the countries with which this Belgium is sharing its border? Okay, कहां पे कौन से कंट्रीज के साथ ये बेल्जियम जो है वो बॉर्डर शेयर कर रही है? लेट्स सी. So we are having France over there, which is sharing a direct border, basically direct and the largest border with Belgium. Then Luxembourg. Okay, towards the eastern side we are having Germany. Then towards the north we are having Netherlands. Okay, so is Belgium a landlocked country? Do you know what exactly is landlocked country meant by? Landlocked country means that particular country which is surrounded by land or by another country across, okay, like from all the sides. It's not having any direct border with any coastal bodies. Okay. Now, is Belgium a landlocked country? No. Why? Because we see here that Belgium is sharing its border with some water body that's named North Sea. Okay. Fine. Then another important location is Albania. So Albania and India are bolstering diplomatic relations. Fine. So that becomes important for us. Albania is a small country over there in the Europe. So let's see the geographical locations, okay, or geographical countries which are sharing its border with Albania. So what are that particular geographical locations, the countries over there? So those are Montenegro, Kosovo, North Macedonia, and Greece. Now see, observe here that these four countries are sharing directly the land borders with Albania. Okay. Also, there are two water bodies which are sharing the border with Albania. So which are those water bodies? You can observe here, Adriatic Sea, Ionian Sea. So these are the two important water bodies which are sharing its border with Albania. Okay. Fine. Another important location is Jordan itself. Fine. So as we have discussed earlier, Lebanon is here. Is Lebanon sharing border with Jordan? No, as we have already discussed a few minutes back. Okay. So Lebanon is not sharing border with Jordan. So which all are the countries which are sharing border with Jordan? So let's see. Jordan is sharing its direct land border with Israel, Syria to the north, to the northwestern side, or to the northeastern side, we are having Iraq. Towards the eastern side, we are having Saudi Arabia. Okay. Yes, eastern and the southern side, we are having Saudi Arabia. Now, if you see closely, is Jordan sharing its border, its land border with Egypt? No, it's not sharing its border with Egypt. Fine. So remember the four nations, the four countries which are sharing the border with Jordan. Okay, you can remember by some mnemonics. Here you can remember like ISIS. Okay, ISIS. So by this we mean Israel, Syria, Iraq, and then Saudi Arabia. Fine, which are sharing its border with Jordan. Okay. Now, guys, these mnemonics is a very important way of remembering the geographical countries, the bordering countries, and the water bodies over there. Fine. So I would ask you people to develop your own mnemonic as per your convenience and try to remember the bordering countries. Okay, that will be a very good thing. And once you are comfortable with it, keep on revising it. Okay, keep on revising it, and often just keep on watching the videos, pause, see the map, okay, read it again, okay, revise it again. This can be the better way of going through the geographical locations. Okay, then context you can read over there. Uganda is in news. Okay, basically Uganda's capital city Kampala was in news, and that was particularly for the above reason. So let's see the geographical location of Uganda. Uganda, it's sharing its border with which countries? South Sudan, okay, Kenya towards the right hand side. Towards the bottom, you can see Tanzania towards the south, okay, Rwanda, and Democratic Republic of the Congo. Okay, so you can see there are 5 countries which are sharing land borders with Uganda. Okay, now to confuse you, UPSC will give you Ethiopia and Burundi. So Ethiopia, remember, it's not sharing its border with Uganda. Fine. And Burundi, Rwanda, okay, some rhymes are basically there in the word, so you may get confused with respect to the options over there. Rhythmic pattern is there, okay. Remember, be clear, Uganda, Rwanda, okay, both NDA are there basically in the end, so they both are having, like, they both are sharing border with each other. Burundi, NDI is there, okay, so it's not sharing its border. Fine. It's the easiest way to understand the geographical locations. The bottom line is basically however you can remember the countries. Okay, remember it. Fine. Any which way. Be playful with the names. Be playful with the mnemonics. However you are able to remember the locations, you should do it. Okay. So having discussed, let's move ahead. Okay. Now strait, which is in news, that is Bab el Mandeb Strait. So the location Bab el Mandeb Strait is also one of the PYQ. Earlier, UPSC has asked a question on this particular location. Fine. Now you can read the context over here. Now, Bab el Mandeb Strait is basically connecting 2 important water bodies. So which are those water bodies? What do we mean by strait? First of all, let me tell you what is a strait. Strait is a small, narrow, okay, small narrow channel. You can equate it with a channel which is basically connecting 2 bigger water bodies. Fine. Let's say here this will be a small strait which is connecting water body 1 with water body 2. Okay, so in this diagram you can see Bab el Mandeb Strait is connecting 2 important water bodies, that is Red Sea over here and the Gulf of Aden. Fine. Okay, where exactly is the location? You can see near Djibouti. Fine. Okay. Now, again, this strait is basically made by certain land bodies, okay, by certain nations, or basically you can see over here that Djibouti is there and Yemen is there. So land of Djibouti and land of Yemen is basically creating that strait, which is then joining 2 important water bodies, Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. Okay, fine. Now, again, guys, see this particular region is called as the Horn of Africa. Okay, it's kind of horn. If you have seen the horn of rhino, right? So it's kind of this. So this particular region, okay, it comprises of certain important countries. So do have a look over the countries which are there situated in this Horn of Africa. Fine. You may expect a question from it as well. Okay. Now, fine. So having seen the world locations, let's see the locations in news, particularly from the Indian perspective or Indian locations which are in news. The updated version, that is from Jan 2024 till the April 2024. Okay. So as I have discussed earlier, the geographical locations which were in news, the Indian geographical locations which were in news, as we have discussed it in the part 2. Okay. the locations which were in news, in 2023. So these we have already discussed in the part 2 of the video of this particular series. So do watch it. Okay, you will get immense information which is basically important for your prelims 2024. Okay, the locations are very important over there. Have a look. We have discussed various rivers over there. We have discussed the hydroelectric projects. We have discussed various other important locations over there as well. Fine. Now let's discuss the locations from 2024 perspective, that is from Jan till April 2024. Okay, now here there was one river which was in news. So it's basically Vaigai river. Okay, Vaigai river. Now see guys, there are some important factual details with respect to this river. We will be discussing it over here. As you see, you can read the context over here, that why exactly it was in news. You can see that Vaigai river, if you see the diagram over here, you can see Vaigai river is entirely in the state of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so first of all, remember, it's entirely in Tamil Nadu. It's the major factual detail about this river. Okay, then second detail is that it's having its mouth near Park Strait. Okay, near the Park Strait. Fine. And you can also remember that there are certain mangroves in this particular location. Fine. So that's the important like factual details with respect to that river. Now that river was in news, and that is the reason we are discussing. See, with respect to rivers, UPSC may ask the questions that uh, from which states this particular river is passing. Okay, so that general idea we will be having over here. We had that particular idea over here. Then the mouth of the river, that where exactly it's moving, like it's flowing away over there. Okay, that we have already discussed. Then another important river which was in news is the Dibang river. Okay, Dibang river. So you can see it's a tributary of river Brahmaputra. Okay, okay, fine. So Brahmaputra, Indus, the river Ganga, these you might have already read in NCRTs. Even the tributaries of these major rivers you might have gone through in your NCRTs. But again, what all you should read. So I advise you that you should read the major Indian drainage system, that is the major rivers in the Indian drainage system, and those rivers which are in news to certain extent for multiple reasons. Okay, so here as we can see that river Dibang is in news, so it becomes important for us to read the information about river Dibang. Fine. Okay, so you can see river Dibang. See here the course of river Dibang, it's given over here. Fine. Now, remember a few factual details about river Dibang. First, it's flowing through two states. If you see in this diagram, see, it's originating where exactly? It's originating in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, it's originating in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, that's the first important factual detail. Then it's moving, it's crossing the border between Arunachal Pradesh and Assam over here, and it's joining Brahmaputra in Assam. Okay, it's joining Brahmaputra river in Assam. Okay, that's important factual detail. Now, so basically it's passing through two states. Okay, now also another important factual detail with respect to this river is it is the major tributary. It is the major tributary of Brahmaputra river in upstream. Okay, in upstream. Upstream means what? Upstream means the course of the river just at the starting over there. Like let's say, for example, if this Brahmaputra is entering into India from Arunachal Pradesh over here, so this river Dibang is the major tributary in the upstream. Upstream, when we consider, it is with respect to the India. फाइन। तो इंडिया में अपस्ट्रीम जो है ब्रह्मपुत्र का जो लोकेशन है वो कहां पे है, अरुणाचल एंड आसाम वाला रीजन। फाइन। सो रिमेंबर, in that particular flow of river Brahmaputra, this Dibang is the major tributary in the upstream. Okay, that is the important fact. Okay, now so to tell you, upstream माने यहाँ पे जो है upstream means that particular region of Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, got it? Fine. So these are the important factual details. Apart from that, you should be also knowing the tributaries of river Brahmaputra. Okay, so major tributaries है river Brahmaputra के, you should be having an idea over there. Right? That's the basic things which you have already discussed in your NCERT. Okay. Now let's move ahead. Okay. Now Paradeep Port Authority. You can read the context. Paradeep Port Authority is in news. So if you are aware, UPSC have asked a question on ports in 2023 prelims. Way before that, a question on ports have already been asked, okay, in the geography. So you should be having an idea about the ports, the major ports over there in Indian subcontinent, okay. And basically the the ports which are basically newly formed, newly established, and the ports which are uh, in news for any other reason. Okay, so you can see two ports are being compared over here. That is Paradeep Port Authority, Paradeep Port basically, and Deen Dayal Port, which is in Kandla. And basically the context you can see over there, what exactly it is. Now here you can see Paradeep Port. Paradeep. Paradeep Port is situated in Odisha. Fine. So this is the location. And Deen Dayal Port. Okay, Deen Dayal Port or Kandla Port, it's situated in Kandla, that is in Gujarat. Fine. Over here. Now, apart from that, there are various major ports, okay, major ports which are highlighted over here. Okay. So those highlighted with red color sign, okay, those highlighted with the red color sign, major seaport, at least go through these seaports, have an idea about these seaports. Okay, they are very important when we compare with respect to geographical location. Fine. Yes. Now we'll also discuss a particular city which was in news. That city is an ancient city, ancient geological marvel. Okay. So what exactly is that city's name? Pandavalu Gutta. Okay, Pandavalu Gutta. Now that city is an ancient geological marvel which is situated in Telangana. Why exactly? Because recently Telangana has designated that site as a geo heritage site. Okay. So to tell you guys, this is the important city and the location is in Telangana. Chances are that questions can be asked with respect to the ancient city and the state. Okay. So name of the ancient cities can be given, and in the another column, there can be the states over there which can be asked. Okay. So this at least you should be knowing. You can be able to see here some ancient paintings have been carved out over there. Okay. And these are the caves which are being highlighted in that particular geoheritage site. Okay. Now, another important location is Afanasi Nikitin Sea Mount. That is ANC Mount. Okay. Afanasi Nikitin Sea Mount. Okay. So what's exactly a sea mount? Sea mount. What's a mount or mountain? Mountain which looks like this, right? Himalaya mountains. Okay. And sea mount means that the same mountain which is basically submerged below the ocean. Fine. So it's similar to a mountain which is submerged below the ocean. Now, this FNSC Nikitin Sea Mount, that is ANC Mount, was in news for some particular reason. You can read the context over here. It's located in Indian Ocean. Fine. It's located in Indian Ocean. So that's important for you people. Okay. Now, with respect to sea mount and the location, again, a question can be expected with respect to the name of that sea mount, and parallel in the column, the another column, the location of the various oceans will be given. Okay. So we may expect a question on that particular lines. Okay. Fine. Then another important location is certain islands, particularly which are there in Lakshadweep range of islands. Fine. Now, you can see that there are certain important islands in this map, in this particular diagram. So now there is particular like particular protest which is being going on in that particular region of Lakshadweep. Okay. Now to tell you guys, there are various islands. There are n number of islands in Lakshadweep Islands. But what all are the important islands which you should be referring to? So here are those. Okay. We're having Chetlat Island, Kiltan, Bitra, Bangaram, Kadmat. Okay. Amini, Androt Islands, and these things. So how basically you need to refer to these islands? See, refer it from north south extent and from east west extent. Okay. So let's say for example, fine. Now what you need to do is basically see the northernmost island in this particular diagram and the southernmost island. Okay. See, there might be chances that a question can be asked of on the basis of arranging these islands from north to south or from west to east. So you should be having that particular idea over this particular islands. Okay, fine. So that's all with respect to the geographical locations. We have discussed some geographical locations in part 1, then in part 2 and in part 3. I advise you people to at least, okay, visit these videos, pause in between, read that particular locations, okay, revise that particular locations, then go ahead. Okay, you can do it in 1.5x speed, okay, or something like that. Please try doing it because it's very important to revise these geographical locations. We may expect a question directly from these locations over there. Fine. So that's all with respect to geographical locations, and all the best guys for your prelims. Take care and also keep on revising the basic things and also the current affairs over there. Okay. All the best.